Greetings, I am Steve Davis, currently the senior pastor of Glenfair Family Church located in Portland, Oregon. I'm also an IMA chaplain assigned to the 375th Air Mobility Wing at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. I am the husband to my beautiful wife of 20 years, Heather, and the father to my wonderful 5-year-old twins, Judah and Olivia. I first want to take a moment and say thank you for this opportunity to be considered for an active duty position in the Chaplain Corps, and to tell you a little bit about my endorser, the Christian and Missionary Alliance, and my call to serve in the United States Air Force. Let's begin with my endorser, the Christian Missionary Alliance. It was founded by A.B. Simpson in the late 1800s. Simpson was a prominent Presbyterian minister in an affluent church in New York City who became frustrated with his church's lack of desire to share the gospel with the poor and marginalized immigrants who were arriving in New York Harbor. This disagreement in ministry philosophy led him to create 2 parachurch ministries that were focused on providing care to the poor and also sharing the gospel, not just here in the United States, but worldwide as well. Simpson had no desire in creating a new church or a new denomination. Rather, he wanted to have a parachurch ministry where members of the different denominations could band together towards 2 main things. 1, living the higher Christian life, that is, living your faith in everything that you do. And secondly, for spreading the gospel. Formed as a missionary society and not as a denomination, alliance churches or alliance groups were called branches, and they would meet often in the evenings so that the members could attend their local churches earlier in the day. The alliance officially became a denomination in 1974, and today alliance churches are committed to the distinctives expounded by A.B. Simpson in what we call the fourfold gospel. Alliance members find comfort and direction in the fourfold ministry of Jesus Christ, our distinctives, where we see Jesus as our Savior, our Sanctifier, our Healer, and our coming King. Because of our earlier commitments to unity and working together with other evangelical Christians, and our emphasis in missions and outreach, I believe that Alliance chaplains are uniquely suited to be in a position where we can minister to a great variety of people, regardless of denominational and sectarian beliefs. And while we have roots in the Pentecostal and holiness movements that started in the late 1800s, the Alliance would better be described as charismatic rather than Pentecostal. One of the main emphasis to us is to see people transformed by the saving work of Jesus Christ and to have His love work its way through their entire being. One of the reasons why I love the Christian Missionary Alliance and being endorsed by them is because of our emphasis on outreach and loving the marginalized in our society. The other thing that is unique about the Christian Missionary Alliance is we're considered to be a big tent denomination. We agree with the major tenets of evangelical Christianity, and we decide to unify on those things, and so there's a lot of bandwidth for people to serve who might disagree on some of the other minor points of theology. And so I'm really excited to represent them in the United States Air Force, should you give me that opportunity to do so full time. Now, my call to serve in the United States Air Force actually began when I was a senior in high school. At the time, I knew that I wanted to become a full-time youth minister. It's something that I thought I was actually going to do for my entire life. At that time, I knew that youth pastors didn't get paid a lot and that schooling was expensive. So I decided to enlist in the United States Air Force in order to receive Montgomery GI Bill benefits. Something that I thought was going to be a 4-year adventure actually turned into 6 years of active duty, and then the rest of my time so far has been in the reserves as an IMA and as a chaplain candidate. When I was on active duty, about halfway through my initial enlistment, I had the opportunity to cross-train to become a chaplain assistant, where I thought I could learn more about how to administratively care for the airmen on the bases that I served. When I got about active duty in 2004 and started going to Moody Bible Institute in Spokane, I decided to become an IMA chaplain assistant to maintain my relationship and affiliation with the United States Air Force. After my time at Moody Bible Institute in Spokane, God moved me and my family to take a full-time youth pastor position in Salem, where I then moved my base of assignment from Fairchild to McCord, and there I continued to serve as an IMA chaplain assistant. It was during my time at McCord where I met a lot of wonderful chaplains that I got to serve alongside with and got to support their ministries to the best of my ability. And there was a number of those chaplains who would frequently come to me, knowing that I was a youth pastor in my civilian job. And they would say to me, "Steve, when are you going to come and join us as a chaplain?" Little did I realize that those seeds that they planted would give birth to my desire and call to serve, not as a chaplain assistant, but as a chaplain. I believe that my experience as a chaplain assistant, prior religious affairs, gives me an opportunity to understand airmen in the context and in the culture with which they work in on a day-to-day basis. I'm very thankful for my chaplain candidate experience where I got to see a great number of things and experiences that many people in the United States Air Force don't have the opportunity to receive. I've worked hand in hand with firefighters, fuel dogs, those who work on aircraft, security forces, personnelists, officers, and enlisted alike. For a while now, I have felt God start a stirring in my heart to come back onto active duty. And this last summer, as I completed my annual requirements, I really felt that call come alive. This summer, I got to help out with providing some briefings during the Resiliency Tactical Pause, and it was during those times where I got to share about how we can become more resilient and more connected with one another, where I really felt God pull me towards applying for active duty. I got to serve alongside and help a great number of people through counseling and encouragement, airmen that I still stay connected with to this day. And so I'm very confident that God has called me and my family, with their full support, into this new adventure. And so I thank you again for this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about my endorser, the Alliance, and my call to serve in the United States Air Force. I'll be praying about your decision, and thank you for all that you do in helping to take care of our airmen.